What's up, guys? This video is for a Christmas light business owner or any business owner really managing or working with an office staff or a VA. This is you, the business owner, having to communicate with somebody who's not in the office right in front of you. And it gets really messy when you're trying to work with somebody maybe in the other side of the world and you need like a central hub for you guys to work out of. All right. A lot of people like to use either Monday.com or Slack. I've found that Trello is probably the most simplest and easiest board to use. In this video, I want to show you exactly how me and my VA, how we use the Trello board to operate and run the businesses, right? And we're building the Christmas Light Academy, and we also have Light My Holidays, which is our decorating company. There's a lot of different things going on and a lot to manage. So you can have different boards for different things that you have going on, right? So let's say you're doing permanent lighting, you're doing Christmas lighting, and you're doing landscape lighting. A lot of three different things, a lot of different moving parts in each three of those aspects. So having a different board in place could be a game changer for you. It could really help you out keeping things organized, getting all those little things out of your head as the business owner and getting them all into like one central hub. So I'm going to do a full walkthrough of a basic example Trello board that I built just to show you guys a little insight of how we use it, and hopefully if you're hiring a VA or you're hiring office staff or even another team member or business partner, you guys can use this system or method, I should say, that we're using, because I will say I come up with so much stuff. There's so many little things and little details that it is so hard to manage all this. If you're still using notepads and whiteboards and things like that, Trello board is going to be your way to go. Trello is absolutely completely free. This is not a sponsored video. I just want to make this because having a Trello board has literally changed my life. I've been using it for maybe 2 to 3 years now, and I'll tell you what, I couldn't even operate in my life without a Trello board. I have one for my decorating business. I have one for the Christmas Light Academy. I have one for the SPT Wire Caddy. I have one for my personal stuff with me, my wife, and the kids. So I've learned to use this, and it's such a great tool that I think other people should know about it, especially if you're hiring a VA. All right. So if you are hiring a VA for this Christmas light season, don't forget, you do not have to train that VA completely on your own. In the Christmas Light Academy, we have a VA onboarding program that basically gets that new VA up to speed super fast. It teaches that VA or office staff everything they need to know about the Christmas light industry, about what we do, the materials we use, how to answer the calls with customers, objections they're going to get, just the overall common thing that an office person is going to need to know. So don't waste the time trying to onboard them yourself. Use the Christmas Light Academy. Check it out. I'll drop a link down below specifically for CLA Core, which has the VA training in there. All right, guys, so here we go. I'm on a Trello board that I made just for an example of this video. So first off, obviously you're gonna need to go to Trello.com, sign up for a free account, and then make your first board. All right, a Trello board is basically this right here. So what I've done is each board is going to have tasks that you can build. It'll start out as a blank board basically. And this is just some of the things that we use in our business that I wanted to show you so you can get an idea of kind of how to operate with it. So the very first thing that I like to keep on the left-hand side is completed tasks. This way, instead of just deleting these tasks, you can basically always go back and reference them. This list just gets long and long and long. So anything that, you do or you buy or whatever, you can move it over here to this task as a completed task. That way, if you ever want to search for it or look back for something, you still have that information there. All right. So every single day, this is kind of how our board looks in a way when we show up. My name is Carey. I have my own tasks that I need to do, right? So for my task for the day might be call the bank for new debit card. And I'll throw that in there. You can always click in and just re-edit it. For you, the business owner, there's so many tasks that you might come up with you need to do, right? You might have a new lead. There's always stuff for you to do. Obviously, if you're hiring a VA or an office staff, they need to have their tasks lined out before the day kicks off. So this could be your VA tasks. We like to put the day. So Monday, sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 of the days already lined out. It just makes it easier for a little bit of a look ahead for what's to come for that week. We're just going to say your VA's name is Susie. So Susie, when she shows up on Monday, you could have in here follow up all leads from Jobber. All right. And then they might also need to finish mock-up image for Stacy, right? Whatever their tasks are that you need to get done for the day, it's nice for them to just show up and have, you know, a space to see what their day is lined out to. You know, I think operating off of text messages is just very messy. This is just a super clean way to keep everything organized and keep it clean. So there's even more things that I like to do personally. You know, there's always materials that need to get done or get ordered. So decor materials to order, right? We need to order some warm white bulbs. We need more socket wire, gutter clips. So this is like our thing. And then as we're ordering stuff, you can just go in and get it checked off once you've ordered it. Now, another thing for me is like we're preparing for the season right now. So there's things that we need to order. Like I need 500 yard signs. I got to get my SPT Wire Caddy, the Titan straps for the ladders. We actually need a new hot glue gun for this season and glue sticks. Maybe you need new tires on the van. You know, it's easy to forget all these little tasks. You know, I used to use notes a lot on the iPhone, and I don't even use it anymore. All we do is operate off of a Trello board because it just makes life way easier. Another good thing to have in here is like hot leads to keep working, right? Maybe you're doing a Christmas in July outreach. There's a lot of people who said they were interested and then they never texted you back. So to me, that's a hot lead. Like if your past client said, hey, I'm interested, and they don't text you back, add them into your hot leads. That way you can keep working them, you know, because they're interested. They're just getting busy and caught up with life. They're not thinking about Christmas lights the way that we are, but you don't want to lose them. You don't want to lose them in that whole list of things. Now, if you have like go high level and you're using some type of automation, then you might not even need this. But for us, this is what we're using to just kind of track or just keep up with them, you know. And it also, you know, the VA or whoever your office staff can come in here and see, okay, these are leads that we can keep working. If they don't have nothing to do, you know, there's always ways to stay busy. You know, there's always something that needs to be done. Another one that I've done recently, we've had probably 4 or 5 people say, hey, we moved into an apartment. We no longer live at that house. Whatever the case may be, we have here customers not returning. And I'm building a list of that because obviously when I get into the warehouse, the very first thing we're doing is breaking these jobs down. You know, we're going to get all this stuff broken down back in inventory. And these are jobs that we're no longer counting with because obviously they've already let us know. So another thing that I really like to do, and this one's been one of my favorites, we're getting a little bit of traction now that I think we're getting to the season. But as I'm driving around town and I see places and I'm like, dang, that place could look great for Christmas. You know, that happens all the time for me. Everywhere I go, I'm like, man, that place would look great with lights, or that place, man, the palm trees would look amazing. You know, so instead of just like letting that die, what I do is I have this commercial places to email, right? And I say I'm driving wherever, I'm in downtown Orlando, and maybe I see like a coffee shop, and let's just say it's called Joe's Coffee. I'll add that in this list. And I might forget about it right away because I'm driving, you know, maybe I'm out with the family. Now, instead of forgetting about that, like, man, this is an actual opportunity. And then what we do is we just go ahead and do a mock-up picture and we attach it in our email and we just cold email out. This is like a really good system for you as the business owner to communicate with, whether it's a business partner, you know, whether it's a VA or your office staff. I don't really have installers in here. I don't see a really need for like installers. This is more like back-end admin type of work that I'm primarily referring to. And I think this is a great way. Like it's completely free. You can get like 8 or 9 boards completely free. It's endless. So let's dive into a little bit more detail real quick. You can add pictures to these, right? You can add in for the hot leads to keep working. Your VA could add in a mock-up image for approval, and then you could say, yeah, it's good to send, or they could just send it without even getting your feedback. But overall, like there's so much you can do in here. Like you can build checklists and you can add a bunch of different tasks. So here's like, I'm just making like 3 different tasks. And as you go through and check these things off, it'll say 100%. And then when it's done, drop it over to completed tasks and you know that it's there and done. Trello board, I'll drop a link down in the description. I think you guys will really like this setup and idea. I think you'll really like it. Like once you start really implementing some of the things and trying them out and like figuring out what works for you and your communication. But overall, like it is a great headquarters to have in one location. You know, like I said, there are other options out there like Monday.com, Slack, things like that. I personally just really like the simplicity of Trello. There's even more, like you can go on the paid plan and they got AI automations built in. They even have this planner right here. You know, I honestly don't use any of that except the board. I'm very simple. I like just like clean. I want to see everything in one spot. And you got to think, if you're doing landscape lighting and permanent lighting and Christmas lighting, have a different board for each one, because there's so many different things that go along with, like, you know, different customers, different leads, different materials. Like, so I don't know. I would personally have a different board for each one. I think it just makes sense because I have a different board for like the Christmas Light Academy, our decorating business, etc., etc. So guys, I hope you found some value in this video. Don't forget, you know, the Christmas light season is coming. If you need a way to onboard a new VA, onboard your new installers this season, and you want to stop repeating yourself year after year, check out the ChristmasLightAcademy.com. We have CLA Core and we have CLA Custom. Both are systems that you can add into your business. And what they do is basically help you build a digital system that helps you hire and onboard all your staff fast and efficiently in English and Spanish. That way you don't have to keep repeating yourself year after year. So guys, I appreciate you watching the video all the way through. Go check out that free offer. We have a free trial down in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.